So the first topic I want to tackle is Kafka cluster setup. So I want to give you an idea of a high-level architecture of what a cluster looks like in production. So we basically want multiple brokers in different data centers or racks to distribute your load and make sure you have a highly available setup that is not risky to run. So basically, if you run in Amazon, this is going to be 3 availability zone. You also want a cluster of at least 3 zookeeper, or 5 or 7. It has to be an odd number. So here's what it looks like in AWS, but it can be set up in any different cloud or even on premise. So in Amazon, you have 3 availability zones, and there's 1 zookeeper in the first one, a second zookeeper in the second one, and a third zookeeper in the third one. And they together form a cluster of 3 zookeeper. And then usually you want to have your brokers, 1, 2, 3, 1 in each zone. And then if you have 6 brokers, they're spread just like that. You don't have to have a number of brokers as a multiple of the number of zones you have, but it's good practice because everything is spread out as such. So this is what a typical cluster looks like. Obviously, it can be 21 brokers instead of 6, and it could be 5 zookeepers instead of 3. But this is what one should expect when running Kafka in production. So a few gotchas. First of all, it's not easy to set up a cluster. And I have personally dedicated a whole course of 4 hours on this just to set up a cluster. So it's not an easy task. You want to isolate Zookeeper and the Kafka brokers on separate servers, okay? They don't run on the same machines. They can't be linked and they can't be running next to other applications. They really have to be isolated so that the resources are predictable. You need to implement monitoring. You need to implement operations and master them. And you need a really good Kafka admin. Usually when companies go ahead and implement a Kafka cluster, they don't really know this or don't really feel it. So this is why I'm telling you this. So an alternative would be to basically have a Kafka as a service offering from the web. And there are many different providers. One of them is Confluent. And basically you pay them and they run Kafka for you. And the advantage of this is that you don't have to have operational burdens. You don't have to set up Kafka. You don't have to worry about updates or monitoring. All of this is done for you, and it makes it a bit more easy to reason about. But big companies do undertake the setup of Kafka on their own. So pick your poison, really. So that's it for Kafka cluster setup. It's just important for you to understand what's in it and what it looks at the end. And if you're interested, there's a whole course on it. All right, I'll see you on the next lecture.